Hey y'all, this is that Eric Javits one, the color block that I showed you. It was so cute, I had to get it. Anyways, I just wanted to show you guys because I liked it. Tipping in Europe. Most of us are aware that tipping practices really just all over the world, from Japan to Europe, they all differ just a little bit. So let's get started. Is this hat gonna bug you? I'm gonna wear it. Italy. In restaurants in Italy, the service charge, also known as servizio, is usually included and noted on the check. In the event that there is no service charge listed on the check, 10 to 15% is usually appreciated. On the bill, you may see a line item called coperto. That is a cover charge that does not cover the waitstaff. That is for the house. At hotels, and especially through Europe, we found it's very similar to the United States. For the porter, that's the person who's handling your bags, generally 2 to 3 euros per bag. A little more if you're at a luxury resort. When we travel, we always stay at luxury resorts. We usually do about 10 euros per bag. Housekeeping, usually 1 to 2 euros per night. We do 5. Again, this is more at the higher end luxury resorts. Taxis in Italy, just round up and tell him to keep the change. In France, as a general rule, tipping is neither expected or required, with a few exceptions, and I'll explain those to you in just a moment. Unlike the United States, where, let's be honest, most of us feel obligated to tip 20% because we know that's how servers make their living. So essentially what we're doing is we are subsidizing the employers, not paying their wait staff a living wage. French wait staff are paid a living wage and receive benefits. Ergo, tips aren't a crucial part of their income, although of course they are appreciated. That being said, it's common to leave a small tip, but unlike the US, it isn't expected. If we're dining at a sidewalk cafe, we'll leave a couple euros. If it's just a cafe, we'll leave the change. And here's the thing, y'all, big American tips are actually considered kind of flashy and a gauche display of wealth. It's kind of frowned upon. Also, you'll want to carry around a small amount of cash. Most restaurants and cafes, they aren't equipped to add a tip onto your credit card bill. So you just want to have cash with you so that you can leave a couple euros or some change. The exception to French tipping rules. These are places and situations where you should expect to tip. These are usually a little higher end places, so here we go. Room service, 2 to 3 euros. The porter handling your bags, 1 to 2, we usually do 5. The valet, 2 to 3 euros per interaction. Housekeeping, 2 to 4 euros a day. You can just leave it on the pillow. Theater ushers, who knew? 1 to 2 euros. If you're going to see an opera, a classical concert, or a play, those are the ushers that you're going to want to tip just a little something. Fine dining, certainly. If the service charge is not included on the check, the general rule of thumb at a fine dining establishment is about 5 to 10% of the total check. If you've booked a private car service to take you to and from the hotel, or to take you around the city, when I went with my parents and my sister, we went out to Champagne country, so we hired a driver to take us out there for obvious reasons. 5 to 10% is customary. It's nice. If you want to do a little more, certainly you can. Finally, the concierge at your hotel, anywhere from 5 to 20 euros if that person has really jumped through hoops to do some nice things for you. These might include typical things like making restaurant reservations for you or arranging certain services or outings. Greece is probably closest to the United States. Like the US, tipping is very common, and a lot of the workers there make their living through tips, just like here in the United States. Just like France, you'll want to carry a small amount of cash around just for tipping or for the occasional store or restaurant that doesn't take credit cards. 10 to 15% is the general rule of thumb in Greece. No tip is expected for taxis, but most people will just tell the driver, keep the change. At the hotel, 1 euro per bag is about customary for the porter, as well as housekeeping. 1 euro per day is about customary. Tour guide tips. These vary depending on the type of tour. If it's a big group tour, consider 10%. If it's a private tour and you really think they've done a great job, consider 15 to 20%. If you want to bump it up a little more from there, I'm sure they wouldn't mind. Finally, y'all, when you're using credit cards internationally, remember that most credit card companies will apply a fee, I think it's called like an international transaction fee, onto each transaction, except for 2 of them. Chase Sapphire Visa and the American Express Platinum or Centurion card. Those Those are the two that do not add the international transaction fees onto your credit card purchases. The bottom line, don't stress over it too much. You're there to go for vacation. You're there to enjoy it. And other than that, just be a good human when you're over there. Okay, y'all, if you have any more questions, you can never comment too much. You can never ask me too many questions. You are why I do what I do. Safe travels and take care.